More Gen Zs are buying homes now than Gen X did at 25, or than millennials did at the age of 25 as well. What is going on, DeRosa Insiders? This is Matt Faircloth. Welcome to the Cash Flow Digest. This program is brought to you live on the DeRosa Insiders on Facebook. If you guys are not followers of the DeRosa Insiders page on Facebook, what are you doing? There's such great conversations happening there. It is free. If you guys are watching this recording on Spotify, please take a minute right now and like this show, give it a 5-star rating. And I'm grateful for you guys to be with me here today on the Cash Flow Digest. All right, guys, current events, man. Here's something going on in the world today I want to just talk about real quick, right? This is like data it's really hard to believe, right? But I ask you to believe it for a second. And it's an interesting conversation, okay? The data that I've seen, an article on marketplace.org, there are more Gen Zs buying homes than ever. Think about that. There are more Gen Zs at the age of 25, right? The average Gen Z is around 25 years old, right? More Gen Zs are buying homes now than Gen X did at 25, or than millennials did at the age of 25 as well, right? It's only up a couple of percent, right? But what is interesting is that Gen Z is buying homes. Now, you have to read the article to get all the data. I'm not going to get into the charts or challenge the data for the article or whatnot and everything. So you got to read the article to get all the data here. There's the article right there for those of you guys who are watching live. Now, let's talk about this, because whether you think that they're like, well, maybe they're buying a little bit less, maybe they're buying a little bit more, it doesn't matter if they're buying more or less than millennials or Gen X. But what matters is that some Gen Zs are approaching the age to the point where they can buy homes, right? And some are up to upwards of 30%, right? So what that brings us to the conversation is, this is something I say a lot, guys, you cannot change a market. You cannot. What you can do is try and go against the grain and try and do things that the market's not doing, right? And that's not a good way to get wealthy. But the way you get wealthy is you read the tea leaves, you see what the market's doing, and you find a way that your business plan, your vision, what you're creating as an entrepreneur can flow in to where the market's going. And what's happening right now, data, here it is, Gen Zs are buying more homes. So how can we, as real estate investors, play into that, right? The way we can play into that is, as landlords, what that means is 70% of Gen Zs are not buying homes, right? If 30% are, 70% are not. So as landlords, what you can do is Gen Z they're quickly becoming a new force to be reckoned with as consumers in the marketplace. You got to start analyzing, what does a Gen Z want, right? A higher percentage of Gen Zs work from home than any other generation, right? So how can you provide more of a work from home environment as a landlord? Maybe you could take a 2-bedroom and carve out a little den and make it a 2-bedroom with a den, or a 1-bedroom with a den, that Gen Z could work from home, right? What if that Gen Z could have some other type of living arrangements, what other benefits that the Gen Zs in the market that you're in? And I'm not going to give you all the answer. What I'm going to tell you, I'm just giving you guys homework here, right? You guys go do the research as to what Gen Zs as consumers use. What do you think that they want? If you guys have a wacky idea that you think would be a great landlording tactic for Gen Zs, post it in the comments below. I'll tell you what else Gen Zs love to do. They love to move around. Those Gen Zs without kids love to hit the road and live on the road. I know multiple Gen Zs that are road warriors that live out. I can think of 3 right now off the top of my head, and I'm not thinking very hard, that live out of a van right now, that are doing the van life. I challenge you to find a Gen Xer living a van life that's not following the Grateful Dead right now, right? But I can show you multiple Gen Zs that are just traveling the country, right? Seeing the world, baby, which is something you can do before you got kids, right? But how can you provide a living space? I got it. If Chad's watching here, that's one of our followers here on DeRosa Insiders. Chad owns an RV park that he's turning into a bit of a hub spot for Gen Zs that are traveling around. He's going to have a music venue there and everything like that. Phenomenal idea. Maybe even try and do like a little beer brewery on site, little music venue, and a little spot for people to hole up for a week or two that are living the van life. That's amazing. What a great idea. What if you guys did something like that too? Now, the other side of it is, if you guys are in the home creation space, if you guys are fixing flippers, if you guys are someone that is creating living situations for people, consider that Gen Z is a factor as well. And a Gen Z, I'll give you another thing. It's just a question. You answer this with your data research. Does a Gen Z want a formal dining room? Right? Probably not. I'll tell you what a Gen Z would want is to turn that into something else, a media room. Most homes have a formal dining room in them. But what could you, as a developer, as a fix and flipper, turn that space into that a Gen Z would pay you 10% more for? Right? I don't know if you want to play the gamer game, like make it a gamer room for them. If you want to make it more of a hang room, maybe hang some like hammocks from the ceiling and have them as spots that they can have a quiet space, meditation room / quiet room for them to read and chill out or whatever. That sounds really inspiring to me. I mean, I'm a Gen Xer, and I joke with my wife that I'm going to lease out our dining room and she would never know about it because we never go in there. Right. So what could you do with housing space to make it more palatable to today's market space? That is the question, right? Yes, it's true or not. Gen Zs are buying more houses than ever. So how can you play that into your business plan? That is the question I will leave with you guys. Consider Gen Z, whether you're a landlord or a fix and flipper. Gen Z is a factor. They're a force to be reckoned with, right? And so that is something that you guys need to consider, whether they're working for home. The comment here, this is coming in on the DeRosa Insiders community. How do companies requiring Gen Zs to return to office? Good question. Here's the data that I've seen. Almost no company I've heard of is requiring them to return to the office 40 hours a week. Almost all companies that I've heard that are doing the return to office mandate are allowing their companies, and I've seen a lot of friends do this, and I've read data on this, so I stand behind this, that most companies that are doing the return to office mandate are allowing people to do what's called a hybrid work environment, which means you work from home a little bit and you go to the office a little bit. Yet employees don't want to go back to the lifestyle of doing 40, 50, 60 hours a week in an office. They want to have that work-life balance. So it still plays that Gen Z, yes, they do have to go back to an office. I get it. A lot of them are not going to be able to live van life and work on Zoom, right? Some will. Some companies are not requiring you to go back to work, but those that are those that I've seen, most are not requiring you to do 40 hours a week. I've even talked to people that work for the government. State governments are allowing people to work hybrid. Okay. Think about that for a minute. If they're doing it and they're about as backward as they get, then other companies are going to be allowed that too. Okay. The hybrid setup is the future. Let me know what you think. Leave comments in the comment section. Would love to hear from you guys. Gen Z is a force to be reckoned with, guys. They are renting, they are buying, they are now in the consumer space. You guys need to be considering Gen Z, whether you're flipping houses or renting as landlords. That's what I got for you guys today. Thank you for watching the Cash Flow Digest. I appreciate you guys. Hey guys, Matt Faircloth here. Thank you for listening again to the Cash Flow Digest. I really appreciate you guys doing that. If you guys want to hear more about what DeRosa Group has to offer, go to DeRosa Group, DeRosa Group.com, DeRosaGroup.com online. You can hear about all the great things that we offer from an educational standpoint and passive investment standpoint on our website. See you there. And if you guys want to join our online community, DeRosa Insiders on Facebook, where you can watch this program get recorded every Friday at noon Eastern, and you can come on as even a guest or ask questions on the show. We hope to see you guys on our online community, DeRosa Insiders. See you there.